Hello world, my name is Eire with Saturn's Edge, and you're watching more Persona 3 Reload.
Please be careful.
Another episode of this, episode 49 now. Next one's gonna be 50. That's gonna be... Yeah, that's a milestone actually, now that I think about it. I gotta do something special soon. You know, I gotta plan that out actually. I'm gonna do that whenever I'm actually done recording this episode. I'm gonna do a little thing. Now, we're already starting off here. We're on a boss floor. One of Fuka's skills, which is Sylphid Aura, ooh, man, that was awful. It's going to increase our defense before the next match. Now, Sylphid Aura is something we haven't used yet, but it takes some of her SP, turns it into defense and speed that carries on through the entire floor until we get into a fight. Luckily, this is really good for boss floors, because you can prep right before they happen. And it's a very smart decision to do so, because these guys were a little bit tough. That is a very difficult to say word. Ochlocratic sand. Is it ochlocratic? That's a new word to me. I have never heard of that word before, actually. I just want to take some time, point that out. Never heard that word before. That's really cool. Yeah, ochlocratic. Ugh, ochlocratic. What does that mean? Huh. Yeah, I actually wonder what that means. Let me quickly look that up, because that's Oh, it's mob rule. An ochlocracy is government by the mob. So these are hourglasses that run on a government by the mob. It's an interesting word. Huh. I have never once heard this before. That's really cool. Huh. Oh, by a mob or a mass of people. That's the form of mob they're talking about. That's completely different than what I was thinking. Man, I'm a little dumb on that. Or by the intimidation of legitimate authority. Oh. Interesting, okay. Well, now I know. It's time run by legitimate rule, or intimidation of legitimate rule, or a massive group of people. Huh. I like that. That's a really cool word that I learned today. And I'm gonna be real, this enemy design is really cool. It's an hourglass, it's sand, it's got saw blades around it. Well, not saw blades, but they're kind of like saw blades. They're like a cutter of some sort. I like that. Oh, and here's where we actually use Orgia mode, which is, no, Orgia? No, it's Orgia. That's what it is. Orgia. That's what it is. Jeez, I need to put emphasis on the Gia there. Yeah. Heavy physical damage, because, hey, that's what happens. But now I cannot control Aigis for 3 turns, but that doesn't matter because it's already over. Yeah, but I learned a new word today, thanks to that boss. I actually didn't see the name for that boss floor. I didn't see the name for it at all whenever I was playing through it, because I just didn't see it. I was really focused on trying to find a weakness as quickly as humanly possible, because I did not want to die. There we go. Oh, everyone's got their level ups, like now. Ooh, nice. Yeah, replace the original there, I think, right? No, maybe I replaced Bash. I did. Interesting, okay. It's nice seeing my choices come up still. My strange choices. And now finally we have a little character bonding moment with Aigis after having her defeat her first boss floor pretty much ever.
Well.
Oh, okay. It's actually nice that we get some characterization for Aigis in the middle of Tartarus. I really do like that. This is what they call getting blindsided, but I do not have a blind side to speak of, so does this not apply to me? I like this. It's kind of funny. Sure knows some unusual phrases. Where did you learn about them? daily academic regimen. Just the other day, Junpei-san taught me how to write haikus. That's pretty funny. I like that. I know a friend of mine who doesn't like haikus. We'll get to that joke eventually. Honestly, I'll bring it up whenever I talk to him next.
I will initiate contact with the enemy.
Anyway, I recorded this episode. I'm recording this episode, this commentary, at the same time I did the previous one. I just did them back to back because that's typically how I do these things. But I don't have a lot to say in this episode because I used up all of that in the previous one to really get everything off my chest and just talk about things. So we're just gonna focus more on, like, the game and, like, a variety of other things here. One thing that's really cool that I learned about Aigis when I was doing this, Aigis has completely different stuff going on. There is an accessory, but she doesn't wear shoes or armor like anyone else, instead going for armor footwear and armor body. Which, actually, everyone has this. But instead of the typical shoes or armor that you get, instead it's a shell for the body, and it is legs for the footwear. And it is an entirely separate thing. As you can see, there's a small logo in the corner of her armors. You can see that there's, like, male and female for some of these. But specifically for Aigis, it's a nuclear symbol. Or I think it is. That's what it should be, I should say. Yeah, there it is. You can see it. It's one of those. So, she is a character that has a unique, specific kind of armor that only she can wear, or have, or equip, or anything like that. And nobody else can have it, but she also can't wear anything normal. This is a really interesting point to bring up, because eventually, I think down the line, we are gonna run into exclusive, like, armors and legs for her. But alternatively, we're gonna have some really good stuff that we can't put on her at all. Stuff that could benefit her. But can't go on her due to the fact that it's limited to the rest of the cast rather than her. It's a really interesting way to balance her out when she's actually pretty strong. By making her kind of different and difficult in the financial department, rather than like the financial and equipment department rather than the like actual skills department. Right now she doesn't have many skills, but that's because she just joined the party, so I can't really, like, talk about that. Because we saw how many skills, like, Mitsuru had whenever she got here. It was also, like, 5 or 6 skills. So I can't complain. But it's really interesting that Aigis is now a character that we're gonna have to work around financially. Because maybe the shells and the legs either cost more or they're harder to find. Which would be a really, really interesting thing to happen. Anyway, we're just, you know, making sure everyone gets some more SP mid-floor here, because we are kind of running low, especially on the protagonist. He was running pretty low there. But now everyone's a bit more stocked up on it. I want to keep people... I want to keep my whole party just up and running at any moment. Because in this episode, we're encountering something new that I want to be fully recovered. Well, not fully recovered, but I want to be recovered enough for. Because I think we earned it. Not we earned it, we worked for it. No, we didn't work for it either. We just need to be. Also, I got this right first try. I feel really happy about that. But yeah, no, in this floor we encountered our old buddy here. This thing, I forgot what it was called. It's a drive. Okay, that's what it was. We encountered our old buddy, the Drive, which is an enemy type that we talked about before, had a lot of difficulty with, but still managed to beat. But now this one is a bit different, a little easier, and should be a bit more manageable. There we go. I really do like this enemy design for the drive. I really do. It's just such a really cool, like, mecha-looking thing. I don't know, it's something I like bringing up every now and then. The enemy designs, I haven't talked about them in so long, actually, other than this episode. I mean, we talked about the hourglasses, but now the drives, I mean, man, we haven't talked about those in, like, a while. I think eventually, down the line, I am going to do... I think it would be a cool, interesting thing to do, is to do a full video at some point, talking about every single enemy, or enemy type, and then another video talking about every single persona. It'd be a way to compile literally everything, a better description and summary for everything, that way it could be its own little, like, essay. But other than that, I mean, I don't know if I'd do those or not, especially not right now, because we're only halfway through the game. Halfway? I mean, I'd say we're about halfway through the game, right? I don't know, I spent so long in this game, it's really hard to tell how long, like, we have till the end. Why did I wait yeah, why did I wait here again? Oh, I was just trying to consider my options, because 2 of my party members were frozen. I really wanted to nail this. Oh, there we go. I think I took... Come on, did I take that one? I took that one, didn't I? I took it. I took it. Yes! Got it. But yeah, no, full videos compiling every single persona and every single enemy in the game would be a really cool idea. It would be kind of hard to pull off. Honestly, my main inspiration for those kinds of videos would be... I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever seen them, but a good inspiration to me for why I even have this YouTube channel in the first place, and... like, why I wanted to do YouTube and Let's Plays is Chugga Conroy. But he has these, like, full, long videos detailing, like, anytime he plays a Pokemon game. Afterwards, he puts out an entire massive collection, like, a massive video that's just every single Pokemon found in that generation, or in that game, or whatever. Fully described. There's stats, there's images, there's a bit of history, there's opinions, there's, like, a ton of stuff, like, even, like, the math of some of them is brought up, some of the Pokemon. And so I think a big inspiration for what I would do would come from that in some form. But I know for a fact that it'd be really hard to pull off, is I'd have to gather, like, footage of every single enemy in the game. And with the Persona ones, it's very harder. It's very harder. Wow. I sounded like a total dumbass. No. It would be very hard to pull it off because the enemies would be easy. Getting enough footage of them would be a bit difficult. But then every Persona is the difficult one. Because you really do have to do every Persona. And there are... tons. Actually, tons of them. And there's a few that I can't even talk about because I would prefer not to bring them up. Why? They are personas from future games. It's why I don't use them. It's why I collect them but don't use them at all. I specifically have it so I do not use them at any point in the footage. I don't use them for anything. Except for maybe fusing. That is the only time I will actually use them. Never mind. It takes a while. The ones that refer to future games are the ones that you can get in Persona 3 Reload through DLC. So you have to buy them in order to unlock them and use them. But whenever you're starting out the game, and you can summon them for free, you break the game wide open. It's not fun. I don't like that. I want to play it as intended. The DLC is just kind of a little bonus that I can add on and, you know, add more into the compendium. But me personally, I just want to, you know, have all of them. Don't use the ones that I think would be spoilery for the series. and just stick to literally everything else. Because yeah, the personas that you can get through DLC, I feel like are better experienced and better used in their home games. Which the games would be, in this case, they would be these specific games. Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden. You can just play Golden if you just don't want the original Persona 4 experience, or if you just want to experience what Persona 4 Golden is, okay? Persona 4 Arena or Arena Ultimax, either one. Personally, I'd prefer Arena Ultimax because, one, you can actually get it a bit more easily than you can Arena, but two, it does literally include all of the story to Arena. And then Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal. When it comes to Persona 4 and Golden, and 5 and Royal, take your pick, freely. There are massive differences between both sets of games. Mainly an extended storyline that you can only get to if you do specific things. There's also quality of life changes, or just something different about it, right? Take your pick in which one you want to experience, because honestly, if you're just looking to play through the story and that's it, go with Golden or with Royal. If you want to play for like what the original games were like, pick 4 and 5. Typically 5 is called 5 Vanilla, if you really want to know that. Why am I talking about these things is like, it's a way to catch people up and really discuss, like, how to get into these games without spoiling it for you. Personally, I love Persona 3 Reload, okay? Do I hate the other games? No. 3 Reload is the one that makes me love this. I have not played Persona 3 Portable, which is the only one I have access to. I cannot play FES, and I cannot play the original unless I was to pirate them or somehow buy the original copies for an insane amount of money.
Let's do the same thing for our next
The same thing with Persona 4. Same problem there. Golden I can play. I played it, but I'm gonna have to replay it again because I feel like I messed up a lot. I really did. I feel like I messed up a ton. To the point where I have to restart the entire file and start from the beginning to truly, like, get a grasp of the game. With 5, I haven't played 5. I have been shown 5 by my friend David. He's the one that got me into the series. And it was a really, like, cool and interesting game. It was a blast. It really was. And then 5 Royal is the one I do own, but I haven't gotten much into. So, basically, if we're talking gameplay experience, 4 Golden and 3 Reload are the only 2 I've played. Played to a certain point, I should say. 3 Reload is my preference because it takes the newer style of Persona games found in 5 and 5 Royal, and it applies it to an older game like 3, remasters it into 3 Reload, and makes it feel fresh and new and exciting, even if I haven't experienced the originals. And I would love to experience the original copies, because I want to know what that hype was like back in 2006 for Persona 3. I want to experience that. I want to see what got most people into the series, and, like, really enjoying it, to the point where it became, like, it boomed once, and then twice with 4, and then 3 times with 5. I want to figure out exactly why these things popped off, because it's an interesting topic. Now, I mentioned one other game. Well, technically 2. Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimax. These 2 games you do not have to play. You don't. For the sake of the story, you really don't. They are spin-offs that continue the narratives of 3 and 4 respectively at the same time, right? It's called Persona 4 Arena Ultimax for a reason, or Arena, right? It continues the story of 4, adds in elements of 3, and really incorporates it and ties it all into a nice, neat little bow. Thing is, it's a spin-off, so it's debatable whether it's canon or not. And on top of that, the spin-off and the way that you play it is completely different. It is instead a 2D arcade fighter. A really good one at that. Honestly, if you just want to play a fighting game, I love Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. I think it is a great fighting game. Not to the scale of, like, Guilty Gear or Tekken, or, you know, if you really want to put it up there, like, I think Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is a little bit less... It's a little bit below, like, BlazBlue, but they're all still good fighting games. And especially Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimax, they are really good fighting games because they actually took kind of an interesting take on what the fighting game formula was like, or what it is like to do an arcade fighter, and making it somewhat, like, somewhat competitive at the least, you know? It's not overly competitive, it's just a little bit. I don't know how to describe it because, you know, there's not much to talk about with it. And I think, like, the way that I'm describing these things to just make these, like, avoid spoilers is just kind of a... It just kind of exists, you know? I've been doing a lot of commentary over this battle and not talking about the mechanics of what's going on. But we're gonna wait until we have more of a proper understanding about it. And when the tutorials actually show up for what this is. A bit more properly, I should say. Or when we eventually talk about it more, or it gets mentioned more. Because this is a really interesting concept, and I want to try and do all of it. Also, Aigis' crit. I love it. I can't believe we actually got Aigis' crit within this recording session. I completely forgot that we did that, but it's still pretty fun. What was I thinking of? Oh yeah, I remember, yeah. Point is, if you want a good start into what Persona is, and what it's like, play whatever game you feel like is more appropriate for you. If you want the exact experience I have now, right? The thing that you've been watching this whole time, play 3 Reload. It's worth it, right? It's 100% worth the time, it's worth the effort, it's worth everything, okay? If you want something that feels a little bit older, and it's more in line with what Persona used to be, before 5 came out, pick Persona 4 Golden. Because that's your best bet for what you're getting as, like, older Persona. If you want a very narrative-driven game, a very good one at that, but a very narrative-driven game, pick 5, or 5 Royal. Either one is perfectly fine. If you want an older copy, pick 3 Fess, 3 Fess, 3 Portable if you really felt like it, or 4, because those are very older, they're very old copies, you know? Well, Portable isn't as old as the other 2, but you get the point. Still, if you want an older copy of the game, go for those, especially if you have access to the console that they can be played on, right? That's a very big key part of this. You have to have access to it. If you want to play any of these games for yourself on PC, 3 Portable and 3 Reload are on Steam, 4 Golden is on Steam, 4 Arena Ultimax is on Steam, and 5 Royal is on Steam. There's also 5 Strikers, but that's something I will talk about not even ever, pretty much. I love the game, don't get me wrong, but as a spin-off that is completely different from this, and has nothing to do with 3 at all, it's not worth talking about right now. And same with 5 Tactica, that's a whole other thing. Now, what we just experienced was called a monad door. A monad door is an unstable contraption. When it appears on a floor, go into it. You have to go into it. Because if you don't, it'll power down for the day, and you're gonna have to come back later. Now, why is this important to note? Because you want to do these as fast as possible, and you want to do them... You just want to get them out of the way. That's the point. You want to get them out of the way as quickly as possible, and with as minimal damage as possible. We were poisoned that entire battle, right? And we made it out perfectly fine. Because we managed to just find the weakness of him through Fuka scanning. Monad doors offer difficult challenges, but the massive big deal with that is a really good challenge like that obviously has good rewards. By doing those Monad doors, you are giving yourself more experience, you're giving yourself a more difficult battle, and you are getting better rewards out of it if you manage to succeed. I like this because compared to all the other enemies around here, which are very easy to beat in like an all-out attack or so, and like the boss floors, but instead with the boss floors, there's a sense of strategy to them. Not just strategy. There's not a sense of strategy. There's a sense of like powering through it until eventually you get it right. Monad doors are what I feel to be kind of like a boss floor, but more so like its own thing where it feels like it requires more strategy. Like, getting poison turn 1. Everyone getting poison turn 1 was probably the worst outcome for me. But I had to come up with a good strategy to make Yukari my focused healer, and everyone else try to find his weakness as quickly as possible. So that way the poison didn't set in, and so we can beat him without him buffing up any of his stats, or potentially lowering ours. Ooh, that's a good card. We're gonna get that skill card.
They are finished.
But yeah, I feel like the Monad doors are more difficult and they have a better sense of strategy compared to something like the main enemies or the boss floors. The full moon operations have way more strategy involved to them, but other than that, I mean, the Monad doors are kind of like a miniature full moon operation, if I'm being honest. They're kind of like a smaller full moon operation without having a specific, like, time frame they appear in. It's not a scripted event. It's an optional choice. Oh, Junpei's playing baseball back there. Oh, Elizabeth's talking to us. Let's see what she has to say. Yeah, we face the threat beyond that door. Yep, Monad door. Yep, so we've discussed this. Did your enemies prove you with a challenge? They did, but they went down easy. Obviously, it's because it's the first one. Interesting. 91st floor. Nice, we got a new request. Tartarus is never gonna stop being a mystery to me. But yeah, I think we had a very successful, like, session here. With the first episode, well, the first of the batch, I should say, episode 48, and this episode, 49. I think we had a pretty good, like, a solid, what is it? Yeah, a solid, like, you know, step forward into more of Tartarus. Into the Yabasha block, into attempting to, complete requests. Into understanding more of the mechanics and gimmicks that happen around, like the great clock that helps you level up everyone, or the Monad doors. We've gotten to use ambushing pretty well. We've actually managed to practice that and use it pretty well. We've managed to talk about a lot in these episodes too, and we managed to get some good rewards too, including some, some skill cards, some personas. And, yep, that's the one, Getsu-e and Zan-e. Those will be really useful. We'll use those at a later time. And also those incenses, that's another thing that we got. The incense 2s are from the exams, except for I think that one power incense, which is from Tartarus. I think we got that earlier. Yeah, what was I doing here? Who did I give what? Oh, I gave a power to Junpei, didn't I? Yeah, power 2 to Junpei. That's what I did, I think. No, I gave it to Aigis. Okay, that's what I did. That makes so much sense, because I wanted her to catch up and be a bit more, just a bit stronger. Anyway. Man, we've done a pretty good amount here. Let me see about just doing that. Yeah, okay, perfect. It's actually worked out pretty well. I've been Eire with Saturn's Edge. We're wrapping up here, okay? This has been Persona 3 Reload. Episode 49. Next one's going to be 50. That's going to be a great celebration, isn't it? Anyway, feel free to like and subscribe, share the video, and hey, I'll see you all around next time. See ya!